Bitcoin will be going much higher than it is already currently sitting, and on today's update video I'm going to be exactly explain why it will go much higher, what is currently happening in the background. Of course, I will be talking about the most important Bitcoin charts on the imminent short term, the most recent Bitcoin correction, and what does this mean for Bitcoin right now, the massive amounts of short positions that are currently getting opened on Bitcoin, and also I'm going to be going over all the major banks that are currently buying Bitcoin. Well, yet in fact, retail interest is clearly still at a low not seen in a very long time here. So I will be talking about what we're currently seeing in the market, the reasons why I do believe there is no reason to be panicking on Bitcoin on that longer perspective, and of course I will be discussing the most important charts for that imminent short term right now. So without any further ado, don't forget to once again slap that like button, slap it up back above 1000 likes, will be highly appreciated, and let me jump straight away in towards the content. So before diving in towards those very important charts to tell about why Bitcoin ultimately is going to be going higher in the longer perspective, I want to be diving in towards the short term, and this is exactly the level I warned you for in the previous videos, and it exactly got us rejected. And actually yesterday Bitcoin created another move down from $60,000 all the way down to $56,000, and now we recovered all the way back up to $58,000 again here. So actually quite a lot of price action it did happen right here. And if we're then going to be looking at the 1 hour time frame, it looks to be that we're creating somewhat of a new downward sloping resistance line. You could be approaching it either from the wick or from the body of the candle, but basically Bitcoin is creating a new slight little downtrend right here, and we actually broke below this very important support box right here, which we are currently actually breaking above of again. But I do want to be pointing out that actually right now in the imminent short term, we are seeing Bitcoin creating lower highs and lower lows at the same time. So currently the trend which we are creating is looking actually quite bearish. And if you're then looking at the daily time frame, we're also still creating such kind of a lower high together with lower low structure. So in order for Bitcoin really to see and really get the trust back that we are still in a bullish trend here, we need to be taking out the previous highs in the market. But just like I said in many videos before, I'm going to be only opening up a new Bitcoin trading position if we do come down again here, fill up the gap, and then move up here. So yes, hopefully for me that is going to be happening, because at that point I can accumulate a new trade on Bitcoin. But if we are already starting to be bouncing from here, then take out the previous high. We of course are creating a higher low right now, and we're taking out the previous high in the market. So everything can still change for Bitcoin, but only on the imminent short term. If you're just looking at this consolidation phase, the macro trend is actually looking from the bigger perspective quite bearish, until we're of course going to be flipping it. And that could be maybe also one of the reasons why we are currently seeing Bitcoin heavily getting shorted. We can see it on the funding rates. Funding rates are significantly negative on Bitcoin, but also on many altcoins, which means that the market is heavily getting shorted. And if something gets shorted so heavily, there could also be a big short squeeze coming. And that is where I will be looking out for right now here. And that is why I ultimately think that it is not too smart to be ultimately over bearish right now in this region here, because I do believe, and this was also the level I pointed out many times before, that if Bitcoin were to be finding some support, it was going to be that 56.6k level. That is the exact level we bounced from so far, because this has been basically around that previous big support for Bitcoin. And as long as we can hold above this level, I said everything is going to be looking actually quite okay. But as soon as we do break below this green box right here, I think at least Bitcoin is going to come down to $53,000 and potentially even towards $50,000. So those are our targets right now if we are going to be continuing the downtrend. However, if we do push back towards the upside and potentially break above the red box, then I would really expect we're going to be literally flying towards new all-time highs, so to 62, so to 73, $74,000. But let me right now discuss some other very important charts, because while in fact many people are currently extremely bearish on the market, we are seeing some other things playing out, which is very important to understand here. Is because literally out of the most recent filings, we learned that most of the largest banks out of the US are buying Bitcoin. And in fact, while this is happening, we're seeing that retail interest is still at an all-time low. So you can see over here in this picture all the firms that have actually bought some Bitcoin. And one of the largest one was Goldman Sachs, which is the 7th largest bank of the world, which is of course insane. So many of these large banks out of the US are buying spot Bitcoin ETFs, while in fact the retail interest on Bitcoin is still sitting at an extreme low here. So we're once again seeing something similar playing out. The bull run is once again playing out like it used to be. First, the big players come in, and then when they have enough, the retail interest is going to come in. We're going to be having a bull market. They're going to be unloading, and so will I on the retail interest, and that is how we're going to be making money. So it is playing out once again exactly the same. And what is even more interesting to see right now here is that currently a signal has been flashed that there is more money getting in towards the market. The market is getting stimulated again, and this is ultimately going to be causing Bitcoin to be rising in value again. And let me quickly show you this theory from Jamie Coates. This is a very important tweet, guys, and this is ultimately also the reason why I think Bitcoin is going to be going higher again. So the central banks are currently capitulating, the liquidity spigots are opening again, and Bitcoin is about to go much, much higher. And over the past month, what is very important to understand is that the BOJ and the PBOC has added more than 400 billion and 97 billion respectively to the broad global money supply. And if he is going to be drawing a comparison to similar stages in previous cycles, it obviously won't be the exact same because the market cap of Bitcoin is much, much higher. In 2017, Bitcoin actually did a 19x, and in 2020, Bitcoin did a 6x. But if we can already pull a 2x from here on, guys, we go to $100,000 and beyond, it would be already quite massive. So things are looking freaking insane what currently is happening. And basically what he stated is that what is going to be important is that the global money supply needs to keep extending for Bitcoin to extend its value as well. But that is of course already a thing that we know. As more money gets in circulation, things that are scarce are going to be rising in value. And this is basically the only reason why Bitcoin always goes up over time. And yes, guys, the Federal Reserve is starting to be injecting liquidity again. The BOJ is already injecting liquidity. Europe is also injecting liquidity. Guys, this is the reason why assets rise over time. And historically speaking, if you're just going to be looking at a very large chart of the S&P 500, you know that in the end of the day, it always goes up here, but with very big bumps up and down here. So it is important to zoom out right now here. And if you are committed for crypto or to hold your Bitcoin for at least 5 to 10 years, there's no reason to be panicking right now here. That is what I want to be pointing out. So yesterday also with the spot Bitcoin ETF, we saw some minor inflows, nothing very big right here. And guys, if you still want to be joining me with my next trade here, I'm going to be opening up a new trade if Bitcoin does allow me to do so. And if you want to be staying up to date how I'm going to be approaching my trade, don't forget to subscribe to the channel right now, because then you will be, of course, the first one to know what I'm going to be doing next. And if you right now want to be claiming a free $500 airdrop position, go to the highest link description of today's video, and then you will come to this page where you can actually claim a free $500 airdrop position by only signing up an account on Bybit, completing KYC, and you can be claiming that insane free $500 airdrop position. So if you're interested in that, make sure to check it out in the link description of today's video. Then, of course, still for Bitcoin, on the broader perspective, we're still creating that massive bull flag pattern, and we're consolidating in this pattern for over, 174 days already. And I am currently forecasting that this actually is going to be lasting for another 80 days. Why 80 days? Is because in 80 days we're going to be having the US elections, and probably that is what is going to cause more volatility in the markets whenever it's going to be playing out. And yes, you can see that consolidation for Bitcoin is extremely healthy, and for any market consolidation is healthy, especially if you're trading below all-time highs and if you're trading below resistance. So Bitcoin is consolidating below one of the most important levels of resistance, indicating we are most likely going to be pushing much, much higher. So things on the bigger perspective are looking great. Guys, really, if you are here for the long term, there's no reason to be worrying about Bitcoin. I mean, if you're comfortably in spot, I mean, sometimes it's just good to take some time off the charts and just look back in maybe 1 or 2 years. But this is really the time where we should be starting to zoom out. We need to be staying patient. The biggest banks in the US are buying Bitcoin at a very rapid pace. They're accumulating millions of dollars every single day, while the retail interest is still at all-time lows. So things are happening. Things are looking great, and ultimately we're going to get the bull market. Whether it's going to be in 2 months, whether it's going to be in 3 months, it is going to be happening, but we need to be staying patient right now. So this was it for me in today's update video. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to slap that like button, subscribe to the channel, and see you guys on the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.